12. Jane Mansfield's Pink Palace. Imagine walking into a mansion where everything is pink, not just the walls, but the furniture, carpets, chandeliers, even the bathtubs were heart-shaped. This was Jane Mansfield's Pink Palace, one of the most outrageous homes in Hollywood history. In 1957, Jane Mansfield, one of the biggest bombshells of the era, bought this Mediterranean-style estate in the Hollywood Hills. She wasn't just a Marilyn Monroe look-alike. She was a star in her own right, and she wanted a home that reflected her personality. She installed a champagne fountain, had pink fur lining her bathrooms, and added a gold-plated fireplace. Her swimming pool, heart-shaped with "I love you, Janie" engraved at the bottom, a gift from her husband, bodybuilder Mickey Hargitay. But behind the glitz and glamour, darkness loomed. In 1967, Jane Mansfield's life came to a tragic end in a horrific car crash. After her passing, the house took on an eerie energy. Despite being owned by singer Engelbert Humperdinck for decades, the mansion's reputation only grew darker. By 2002, it was too much. Developers demolished it, erasing the home from existence. Some believe the house was simply too eccentric to survive. Others, they say the mansion was cursed from the start. But Jane Mansfield's house wasn't the only Hollywood dream that turned into a nightmare. 11. Bob Hope's Toluca Lake Estate. Bob Hope was a Hollywood icon, one of the most beloved comedians and entertainers of all time. His sprawling Toluca Lake Estate was a reflection of his success. The 15,000-square-foot mansion sat on 5 acres of prime land, complete with a private golf course, massive swimming pool, and even a secret underground bunker. For over 60 years, Bob and his wife Dolores hosted the biggest stars here: presidents, world leaders, and Hollywood legends. It was a place of laughter, music, and history. 10. Lucille Ball's Beverly Hills home. Lucille Ball defined television comedy, but her Beverly Hills home, it didn't get a happy ending. Lucille and Desi Arnaz bought this stunning ranch-style home at the peak of their careers. It wasn't just a house. It was a symbol of their love and success. The home was modest, yet elegant, with a large garden, a private pool, and a sprawling open-air patio where they hosted some of Hollywood's biggest names. Even after their divorce in 1960, Lucy held on to the house, raising her children there while continuing her legendary career. But in 2011, something heartbreaking happened. Despite huge protests from fans, the new owners demolished the home, replacing it with a modern mansion that had nothing to do with its past. Strangely, after the demolition, neighbors started reporting eerie activity, lights flickering, strange whispers, and a feeling of being watched. Was it just a trick of the mind, or was Lucille Ball's presence still lingering, refusing to be erased? 9. Frank Sinatra's Twin Palms estate. Frank Sinatra's Palm Springs mansion was built for 2 things: luxury drama. Nicknamed Twin Palms, this ultra-modern home had floor-to-ceiling glass walls, a recording studio, and a piano-shaped swimming pool. It was the ultimate Rat Pack party house, where Sinatra, Dean Martin, and Sammy Davis Jr. lived it up. But inside these walls, Sinatra's marriage to Ava Gardner fell apart. Their passionate, violent fights often left furniture broken, windows shattered, and neighbors wondering if someone was about to get murdered. After their split, Sinatra abandoned the house. It sat empty for years, falling into disrepair. By the 1990s, it was restored and turned into a luxury rental property. But some say it never lost its haunted energy. Some guests reported hearing music playing late at night, with no speakers on. Others claimed they could hear Sinatra's voice echoing through the halls. Coincidence? Or is the house still holding on to its wild past? 8. Dean Martin's Trousdale Mansion. Dean Martin was the epitome of cool. His Trousdale Estates home was just as stylish, a sleek single-story mansion with glass walls, offering breathtaking views of Los Angeles. This was where the Rat Pack partied, where Hollywood's elite drank, smoked, and made deals. But after Dean Martin's death in 1995, the house fell into obscurity. It changed owners, but no one kept it for long. By the early 2000s, it was completely demolished to make way for a new mega mansion. Just like that, a piece of Hollywood history was erased, one of the greatest entertainers of all time, with nothing left to mark his presence. 7. Marilyn Monroe's Brentwood home. Marilyn Monroe had everything: beauty, fame, and a career that made her one of the most iconic women of all time. But despite her success, there was only one house she ever owned, a modest Spanish-style home in Brentwood, Los Angeles. It was supposed to be her safe haven, a retreat from the pressures of Hollywood. Monroe even had a tile at the front entrance that read, "Cursum Perfectio," Latin for "My journey ends here." Eerily enough, it did. In 1962, just 6 months after moving in, Monroe was found lifeless in her bedroom. The cause? Officially ruled as an overdose, But conspiracy theories have never stopped. After her tragic passing, the home took on an unshakable energy. Every new owner reported strange occurrences, doors slamming shut on their own, whispers in empty hallways, and an overwhelming feeling of sadness. Some say her spirit never left. Others believe the house itself held the weight of a tragedy Hollywood tried to forget. Then, in 2012, something shocking happened. New owners purchased the house and, without warning, had it demolished. Was it just a business decision, or were they trying to erase something they didn't want to deal with? One thing's for sure. Marilyn Monroe's house is gone, but her presence never truly faded. 6. Howard Hughes' Desert Inn penthouse. Howard Hughes was a genius, a tycoon, a Hollywood filmmaker, and by the end of his life, a paranoid recluse. In the 1960s, Hughes checked into the top floor of the Desert Inn in Las Vegas and never left. At first, the hotel staff thought he was just another high-rolling guest, but Hughes refused to see anyone. He sealed off the windows, banned visitors, and only communicated through written notes passed to his assistants. When Hughes finally passed away in 1976, the penthouse was abandoned. Even after the hotel was remodeled, no one wanted to live there. Employees refused to enter, and guests reported hearing strange shuffling noises from the deserted suite. Was it just the lingering energy of a broken man, or something far more unsettling? To this day, the penthouse remains untouched, as if even time itself refuses to move forward inside those walls. 5. Charlie Chaplin's Hillside Estate. Charlie Chaplin was Hollywood's first superstar. He built an empire of silent films and became one of the most recognizable figures in the world. But his Beverly Hills mansion? It disappeared, almost as if Hollywood tried to erase it. Built in the 1920s, Chaplin's estate was a masterpiece of design, featuring hidden rooms, elaborate corridors, and secret passageways that fit his larger-than-life persona. But in the 1950s, Chaplin was exiled from the United States, accused of having ties to communism. He was forced to leave Hollywood forever, and his mansion fell into neglect and decay. Rumors swirled that the house was cursed. Construction workers refused to complete projects. Visitors reported hearing laughter echoing through empty halls, and some even claimed to see shadowy figures roaming the estate. Eventually, the house was abandoned, left to rot until developers demolished it, wiping out yet another piece of Hollywood's silent film era. But some believe Chaplin's presence never left. Even today, visitors to the site report a strange energy, like something is still watching from the shadows. 4. Elizabeth Taylor's former mansion. Elizabeth Taylor was Hollywood royalty, known for her 8 marriages, scandalous affairs, and timeless beauty. But one of her most lavish estates? It became a ghost of its former self. Located in Bel Air, this mansion was where Taylor fell in and out of love. It was the setting of some of her most passionate romances, but also her most heartbreaking separations. After she moved out, something strange happened. The house changed owners, but no one stayed for long. Renovation projects were mysteriously abandoned, and buyers kept reselling the property. It was as if the house itself didn't want to be lived in. Eventually, it sat forgotten, overgrown with vines and falling apart, swallowed by time. Some say the house carried the energy of Taylor's heartbreaks. Others believe it was just another Hollywood casualty. Either way, no one ever stayed long enough to find out the truth. 3. Bela Lugosi's Hollywood Hills home. Bela Lugosi, the actor who brought Dracula to life, had a Hollywood mansion that could have been a horror movie set. The Gothic-style estate, tucked away in the Hollywood Hills, had dark corridors, shadowy staircases, and a foreboding presence that made visitors feel uneasy. As Lugosi's career declined, so did the mansion. Strange occurrences started happening, windows slamming shut on their own, lights flickering, and guests claiming to hear whispers in the dead of night. Some even reported seeing a dark figure standing in the doorway, only for it to vanish when approached. After Lugosi's death, no one wanted to live there. The house was eventually abandoned, left to crumble under its own eerie history. To this day, some say the land itself is cursed, forever tied to Hollywood's most infamous vampire. 2. Cary Grant's Palm Springs mansion. Cary Grant was the ultimate leading man, smooth, charming, and effortlessly elegant. But his Palm Springs estate? It carried a far different story. This mid-century modern home was meant to be his perfect retreat, a private escape from the pressures of Hollywood. But after his passing in 1986, the house fell into a strange limbo. No one wanted to keep it. Every attempt to sell or renovate it either fell through or was abandoned. Some say it was because of rumors about Grant's personal life, while others believe the house carried an energy of loneliness, a reflection of the man behind the Hollywood image. Eventually, it was demolished, erased from history like it had never existed at all. 1. Theda Bara's Lost. Beverly Hills Mansion. Theda Bara, Hollywood's original femme fatale, built a reputation as mystical, dark, and untouchable. Her Beverly Hills mansion was a reflection of that, a place filled with Egyptian relics, dim candlelight, and Gothic architecture. It was a house that felt otherworldly, as if it belonged in one of her silent films. But in 1956, something terrifying happened. The mansion mysteriously burned down, reducing it to ashes. Was it an accident? Or was it part of a long-running Hollywood curse, erasing the homes of silent film legends one by one? Whatever the truth, the house was never rebuilt. Which of these abandoned mansions shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe. Hollywood secrets are far from over.